Hey guys, so here is the review for your quiz that covers unit, circle, and things that were rational. Okay, so let's start off with the rational, the old stuff first. So number one, find the horizontal asymptotes. So we look at the degrees for horizontal. So if I have no exponent, then it's an understood 1 here and here. So my horizontal asymptote is when the So when the degrees are the same, we just divide by the leading coefficient. So in that case, it'll be 4/5. The degree here on top is 1, and before y equals. And so, right, y equals, sure, holes, yes, they are. So here, the degree on top is 1, the degree on bottom is 2, so it is y equals 0. Here, with the degree bigger on top than it is on bottom, there is no HA. Yes, that was kind of fun. Okay, so now let's get to the vertical asymptotes. Now, so let's look at number 4. So here we go. Notice the bottom is nice and factored. Gosh, that is nice. We definitely don't have a hole. So here is where you're going to set x minus 4 equal to 0. And x minus 2 equal to 0. And then here, add your 4 to both sides. So x equals to 4. And then we're going to do the same thing here with the 2. So x equals 2. So my vertical asymptote is x equals 4 and x equals 2. Now number 5, they're not as nice on this one. Minus 25x. Okay, so here we're going to factor. Now before we jump in and start factoring, sorry, notice that these both have an x. So what I want to do is take out. So if I take out an x on the bottom, I'm left with an x minus 25. Okay. So we're going to set each factor, including the x, equal to 0. And the x minus 25 equal to 0. So we're going to add 25, add 25. So x equals 25. So we have 1 and 2. Okay. Please be aware of this one. Okay. Now, last but not least, x squared minus 16, x squared plus 5x plus 4. Okay, since I'm only asking for vertical, all we're going to do is factor the bottom. So what two numbers that multiply to give me 4, when I add, I get 5. So I get x plus 1 and x plus 4. So we're going to set those equal to 0 and solve. Whoops, negative 1. And then x equals negative 4. Okay. Now, if some of y'all are thinking there is a hole, yes, you're right. But this section was only for vertical asymptotes, so we don't have to worry about the holes. Okay, now speaking of the holes, let's look at number 7. Can y'all see? Okay, so we have f of x equals x cubed plus x squared minus 6x over negative 4x squared plus 12x. Okay, so let's deal with the top first. Notice each one of these have an x. So let's take out the x. So when I do that, I get an x squared Take out an x, get an x, and a minus 6. Okay, so now what we're going to do is x, and then break this down a little bit more. What times what gives me 6? When I subtract, I get a positive 1. And if you said x plus 3 and x minus 2, you are correct. Now, let's look at the bottom. They both have an x, but they both have a negative 4. So what we're going to do is take out a negative 4x. And this is where I want you to be very careful. It's right here. So if I take a negative 4 out of negative 4x squared, I'm left with an x. And this is where we want to be very careful. Positive divided by a negative is a negative. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. So negative 4x and x minus 3. We have an x plus 3 on top and an x minus 3 on bottom. Close but no cigar. Do you see here that little x? They're the same. So for my whole, I'm just going to set x equal to 0, and there is my whole. Okay. Number 8. Oops. That should be x squared minus 2x minus 8 over x squared minus x minus 6. Okay, so yeah, right here, yeah, those are supposed to be minus signs. Okay, so what times what gives me 4 when I subtract? I get what times what gives me 8 when I subtract? I get negative 2. Now, if you said x minus 4 and x plus 2, you are correct. And what times what gives me 6? When I subtract, I get negative x, a negative 1. So x minus 3 and x plus 2. Okay, do we have a common factor on top and on bottom? Yes, we do. So we have that at x plus 2. We're going to set that equal to 0 and solve. So subtract 2 from both sides. So x equals negative 2. Okay. And last but not least, sorry, I'm having to move my camera. Number 9. X plus 1 over negative 3x minus 3. Can I do anything with the top? No. So we're just going to put it in parentheses and move it over. Notice here, what do these have in common? Yes, they both have negative 3. So here, again, we want to be careful with that negative 3. Okay, so negative 3x divided by negative 3 is just x. And then a negative 3 divided by a negative 3 is a positive 1. We have a common factor on top and on bottom, so we're going to set that equal to 0 and solve. And we get x equals negative 1. Okay, I hope that helps you with the holes and asymptote part of the review. I'll see you for the next.